See if these are working or not. Sorry, I'm trying OBS's new stuff here, but it seems like it's not right. Like, I don't know why it's not allowing me to change. Well, what do you do? This is an old one, but that's fine. I'll just swap it up later. Move that up here or to the other screen. There we go. Yeah, that shouldn't be that either. Perfect. Woundbar. All right. Yeah, so can start doing this daily, barring any. Well, actually, I probably should have waited 4 weeks to do this because I have jury duty coming up next week. Doesn't mean I have to go. I just have to report in. I have to report in whether or not I need to go there, be there physically or not. So we'll find out. But that's for 4 weeks, and it's federal, so not a lot of option there. Ooh, that's hot. Yes, I did. Yeah. Where's that? I don't even think I have it on my watch list. Mantra. I write about it quite a bit. But yeah, it's had a bit of a dive, right? Look at it. Yesterday, it dived 82.37%. I think the CEO is live. CEO, founder, whoever it is, he's live on X and YouTube right now with Cointelegraph. Maybe that ended. I know it was on earlier. Watched a little bit. And by a little bit, I only know what I heard them talking about was the founder was asked a question from Cointelegraph about the addresses and the investors and the people who have it, and he was asking questions about a ton of coins being transferred to exchanges, which is never really a bullish thing, because it sounded like a lot of the wallets were transferring to exchanges. And depending on how long you've been in the space, depending on how much you know about on-chain analytics, when people send things to exchanges, an inflow that is typically viewed as a fairly bearish event, or a very strongly potentially bearish event, because you have a lot of why do you send it to an exchange? Probably to sell. And when it leaves an exchange, outflows, those are considered bullish because people are taking them off of there. And the belief is that when you take it off of an exchange, you're not speculating with it. You're going to hodl it for a while. So what happened with Mantra? No idea. I mean, it's going to probably take a little while for things to settle here, but I've written about Mantra a lot. I do a lot of updates on Mantra, as I do with a lot of coins on the StockTwits platform, on StockTwits Crypto, and then on my personal X account, I do write a lot about the updates that go on across. I have like 88 altcoins on my list that I keep track of, but I've never seen anything pop up off the top of my head that would raise any red flags about Mantra. And I posted earlier that, I mean, whether you like to speculate or invest, I feel like this is one of those very stupidly overdone moves. Question. Yes, we can look at, somebody asked about Bitcoin. Yep. I mean, there's really not much to say about Bitcoin. And from an Ichimoku perspective on the hourly chart, that's bullish. That's an ideal bullish Ichimoku breakout. Let's see if there's any follow through as we get into regular opening market today. Daily chart held up against the bottom of the cloud. So one of the cool things about the Ichimoku system is that you have a very clear set of defined rules, and you know that the Ichimoku system it's a full trading suite. It's listed as an indicator, but really Ichimoku is its own full comprehensive suite of trading system. And even though like TradingView, NinjaTrader, MT4, MT5, you know, any of the big charting platforms out there, professional and retail focused, you know, they really limit Ichimoku to just being an indicator when it's really a suite of indicators. But really, you know, not to go off on a tangent here, which I've already done, but Goichi Hosada, who created the Ichimoku system, he spent more time talking about the three principles, and mainly which Ichimoku has three principles. They're called. It has its own time principle, price principle, and wave principle, which are very, very similar and analogous to a lot of the same kinds of theories that we have in Western analysis. But Hosada focused mainly on time, and very much like W.D. Gann did, focusing on time being the most important factor in the markets, not price, which is arguable. I believe both. But one of the nice things about the Ichimoku system, since it's coming to the West in the early 2000s, is that there's been a lot of smart people who have spent a lot of time analyzing it, looking at it. And one of the more recent works on the Ichimoku system is by Kunitz, Charles Kunitz. His second edition came out last year, 2 years ago. Anyways, one of the things that he looked at was there's like this space. And long story short, which I should have just said earlier, is that he really kind of identified, you know, a way to look at aggressive entries for long and short opportunities. And one of them is when you have the rules are fairly simple. There's three of them. For long setup, if it's below the cloud, which we currently are, if the close is above the Tenkan-sen, the blue line, and the Kijun-sen, the red, you need those two things to be true. And the last one, and this is also really kind of a thing that's normal in the Ichimoku system, is that the lagging span, which is the black line here, which is really just the current price shifted back 26 periods. When that is above the bodies of the candlesticks, then that is the speculative long position. So this, for Bitcoin at least, when it is above, let's say when it's at or above, let's just say 87,000 even, 87K, then that would fulfill the aggressive long entry opportunity. Now, the more conservative approach with Ichimoku, because Ichimoku at its core is a trend following system. All right. It's not a short-term trade. Okay. Like Ichimoku, if you think of it like a meal, you will miss the salad and the breadsticks, and you'll probably miss the dessert, but you will get the mashed potatoes, the steamed or roasted vegetables, and you'll get your ribeye. So you will get the main course, but you will miss out on the salad and the breadsticks and the dessert, which is cool. All right. Yes. No, yeah, I'll go over that some other time. I've thought about it. I'm gonna reach out to. The question is about doing a full teaching session on the Ichimoku system, which I've done a lot. I haven't done it. Ooh, I know it's been at least over a year and a half since last time I did it. Well, I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure it's been that long. But for Bitcoin, the more conservative approach is to wait until price is above the cloud and it's above the Kijun Sen and the Tenkan Sen, and ultimately the lagging span needs to be above the candlesticks, or if you're going to be really conservative, wait for it to break above the cloud too. The real trigger to the Ichimoku system is the lagging span. That is ultimately, almost all the time, that is the last thing that moves in order to fulfill entries, exits. Yep, we can look at Algorand. And I wrote about this a little bit in the light paper last week. I think it was last week, but really posting that a lot of the altcoin market looks the same. All right, there are a few exceptions, but most of the altcoin market looks like this. Looks like Cardano. Well, maybe not Cardano, but Algorand's daily chart right now looks very, very much. It might as well be a stand-in for the rest of the altcoin market, because you have on the short term here, you have this very nice, strong short-term bullish event, which is price closing above the Kijun Sen red line and the Tenkan Sen. So that's good. And it tested yesterday, held above it, right on top of it, really, which is good. And then today we keep moving higher. But the thing really holding back the full-on early aggressive bull entries is where the lagging span's at. And the unfortunate thing here is that it's rather fortunate, but the lagging span responds to the same type of resistance and support that price does. Okay, so, and in this case, it's facing resistance against the candlesticks themselves, which is normal. Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah, what would happen tomorrow is, so you see the lagging span is like in the middle of this candle. If today closed right where we're at, tomorrow it would shift over and then it would be above the candles. And then that would be the sign that a lot of aggressive buyers would need to trigger the long here. But I mean, really across the board, this Monday, we have a lot of risk on across the space. You got the Dow is up. ES is up. The NASDAQ. Actually, well, the ES has a pretty big gap there, doesn't it? The NQ is higher. Let's see, even the Nikkei, Capron. Natural gas. Treasuries, that's fine. Oil is up. Yeah, I mean, risk on across the board is up. But let's look. What are the metals doing? Oop, we went past them. Silver and gold both down. Little 1.1, 1.25. Platinum is up 3/4. Platinum's chart is one of the ugliest ass charts. I mean, this is a choppy as hell asset. Go back to 20. I mean, really, you see this breakdown at the bottom here in January 2016. Ever since then, it's kind of been really stuck in between that 850 to $1,000 range. Yeah, that's some ugly price action. Yeah, the dollar index is up a little bit today too. And it's down a good chunk, but I mean, that's the there's a lot of arguments for the dollar where people like it where they want it. You have, I mean, a strong dollar. There's a strong dollar in the sense that it's not that its price is valuable, but that it's strong as the primary reserve, the primary currency that everything is priced against. Let's face it. It doesn't matter if it's the dollar, gold, Bitcoin, the euro, the British pound. It doesn't matter. Swiss franc. The humans have a tendency to centralize pricing around a single type of asset. Right now, it's the dollar. Before that, it was gold or the pound. That's just how things are. But the dollar index is at, I mean, go back to September of 2022. It was sitting up here at 114. And that was that was the highest it had been since, end of Q1, beginning of Q2, 2002. I mean, that's pretty nuts. And it hit the lowest it's been last week since April of 2022. So, I mean, this isn't I have in my trade journal, I have things planned out or projected out. 2026 is, I left my bag over there, but 2026 is the yuck zone. So let's see. Let's keep looking at some things here because there are some really nice setups here if you have the patience. And by the way, one of the things with Ichimoku that has proven to be true in my I've been using it pretty as a primary piece of analysis and trading for the last 12 years. But one of the things I've learned about the Ichimoku system is that waiting for confirmation is the definite way to do things. All right, let's go to, we did Algorand already. Hold on, I'm just moving this other window over so I can see what it. All right. Yeah, I was just No, I just closed a trade on yep. Sorry, I'm reading your message. Yes. Doge. Doge is it's been a very sucky time, but on the weekly chart it's holding up pretty nicely here. And here's something you want to look at. This time period right here between April, let's see, that's the last week of April, so the week of April 28th. Between then and the week of the 19th of May. So there's a 4 week period that you should really pay close attention to. And that is because on the weekly chart, you have this activity going on here. The NVIDIA announces a $500 billion investment plan to build and expand AI infrastructure in the U.S. Well, hoop-de-hoo. All right, let's go here. It's this spot right in here where you see this very thin cloud moving up. This is something Manesh Patel discovered in his... he's an Ichimoku author as well. And he's still an active analyst trader. But he wrote that when you see... If the future cloud is above where price is at, which it is, when span A and span B both point up in the same direction, that is often it is often a time when you see prices move pretty dramatically in that direction. So it's very possible that Dogecoin, we see kind of blech over the next couple more weeks, and then it's not till the very end of April, beginning of May, that we would see it at the earliest start to really respond with some, strong bullish movement higher. So that's, that was on Doge's chart. Looking at the weekly chart for Cardano, you have the same thing. Actually, Cardano's is a little more attractive because of the thin cloud, and it is green. Algorand, it's not as good. Wow, Algorand's kind of stuck in the weekly cloud there. There's a ugly Avalanche. Avalanche is interesting. Bryce, you just asked about Avalanche. AVAX, Standard Chartered, I put a lot of faith in, or a lot of weight into what analysts at banks are saying. But when they mention or name drop an altcoin that is a big player in real world asset tokenization, RWA, they're looking at a 200 and I think it's a $250 price target for AVAX by 2029. That is their projection, and they expect it to outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that's a pretty safe call, I would say. But that's an interesting thing I caught, that them, really name dropping and mentioning AVAX specifically. They've done it recently with some others, but that for a bank, at least, for anybody involved with assets and providing liquidity for the Avalanche is that's the name of it. Ethereum, what do you say about this guy? I think you are seeing the result of what happens when you do not have a very democratically deciding decision on how to do things with Ethereum. I think most of the reason it's still this valuable is because you have a bunch of the traditional big money assets who came in like BlackRock, and they looked at the market that had been established already, and it's matured a lot since 2015, 2016, and they saw Ethereum has been number 2 for a long time. And before BlackRock even came out with an ETF, you had institutional speculative money coming into Ethereum. And really, long story short, I think its high market cap, historically high market cap, has been what's saved it. But by any other metric, Ethereum's kind of meh. I mean, it looks like it's just fallen off the punch me in the face tree, and it just has not had any opportunity to. Well, it's had plenty of opportunity, but not a lot of ability to like really go any further. Now, the Pectra upgrade that's coming up on I think May 7th. That's it's going to address what has been addressed in the other upgrades. It's supposed to make it more scalable, cheaper, faster, and better. But you have all these layer 2s. And for those who don't know what a layer 2 is another blockchain that is built basically on top of an existing one. And so here's basically what happened. You have, what's the problem with Ethereum? It's expensive. Okay, it's expensive to use. So people would build another network that is still on Ethereum, but the transactions and all that jazz happen on the layer 2. So they're cheaper, faster. And really what's happening is, and what's ending up here is you have Ethereum just turning into like a settlement layer. So you've got that going on. I mean, it's very possible that things get fixed and things are better, and maybe that's why there's so much money in it still. There's people who believe that Ethereum is going to fix the things holding it back, but we'll see. Yeah, Ripple. Somebody wanted me to take a look at Ripple here. XRP. Yeah, this is kind of the same song and dance, same story as any other altcoin right now. You have this looking at, yeah. Oh, what's happening now? I don't know. Who knows? Monday morning shenanigans. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's coming off of its intraday highs a little bit, but again, the great thing about the Ichimoku system is you wait for confirmation. Yeah, we can look at Mantra again. I mean, I don't think lots changed. I mean, it's been around for, 5 years. They, I mean, the news was saying that this was due to some aggressive liquidations. I mean, that's putting it nicely, but it's a bit of a dive. You know what? Let me pull up I think I gotta change. Let me add a window here. I want, yes, this here. That is not what I wanted, not Manta. Okay, so yeah, so we know that Mantra took a crap. Oh, what the hell? Mantra, we have what? Wonder if we can get go to 1 day. This is no, we want this. Go back here. So for Mantra, moving out to my main screen here. You know when it does that. Actually, I moved myself off the screen. All right, so this was back in beginning of the year. Well, there was a big spike between. Meant to do this. Oof. Wow. 95. That's the inflows there. Pretty massive. Which goes back as far back as February. You got 32 million spike, 32, 36, 38. Things quieted down. Yeah, what's the MVRV on this? I don't know if they'll have that metric for this. Oh, we do. Let's look at the 30-day. Wow, that's quite the drop. So the MVRV ratio is the it's basically measuring, you know, whether people are you know, it's almost like overbought, oversold, but not really. So anything above 0 means that over the last the tokens over the last 30 days, that there's like the idea is that the large percentage of these are in profit. So if I'm looking at it where it's at right here, this means that you have a lot of people who are highly incentivized to sell. Whereas down here, it's the opposite. This is people who are incentivized likely to buy. And now we are down all the way down here. Now, what does it say when things are staying above 0 and people aren't selling? It means people probably expect it to go up. But what does it mean when it's down here and people aren't selling? Or buying, it means people are anticipating it to go lower, maybe. So there's a lot of ways to interpret this, but regardless, it's interpreted that things are interpreted to be slightly bearish in the near term if you're above a good distance above 0, and if you're a good distance below 0, things are anticipated to be bearish fairly soon. So that it's not always the case. And this is definitely one of those cases where that is not the case. So yeah, it looks pretty ugly here for mantra, which there's got to be a bigger story here. I mean, there's some, these are pretty dramatic nosedives and not a lot of, yeah, I can look up another one here. Well, actually, I was going to bounce off here before I have a meeting in about 20 minutes. Yep. Hurry up and wait. That's the name of the game. Park and bark. Yeah. But I'll actually, I'm going to bounce now and then I'll talk with y'all tomorrow, same time. Take it easy.